Hey, welcome to California Fire Women, episode
Yay! 4.
4. It took us a while to figure out what episode it is, even though we're in single digits. We still have trouble counting. Next, we'll do shapes and colors. Okay, so episode 4. Here we are with Lily and Athena, myself.
Hello.
Hello, hello. And where's Miss Meglan?
Meglan is in Europe, living her best life right now. So it's just us two this week. And then when she comes back, we'll get her back on.
Yep. Man, I told her to go try and locate some firehouses and some firefighters and take some pictures with them, just to
That'd be
see, like,
awesome.
yeah, the differences between US and European uh helmets. We almost went with those, thank God we didn't. I'm all about safety, but man, yeah, I told her I visited, so she's going to try and do that. She said she hasn't seen too many. I go, well, maybe they're really safe there, or maybe they're underground. I don't know. But we did that, or I did that when we went to Chile, and it was pretty interesting to see the different types of firehouses. And theirs was completely open, like no bay doors. It looked like the inside of Alcatraz, from what I remember. Stones and uh, they really do. They have a limit on the kinds of equipment and stuff that they have and what they have to work with. And here we like complain about not having things, and you see it in another country and you're just like, whoa, like, oh God. But anyway, so that was a cool experience, to meet some Chilean firefighters.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah. All right. So, Meglin, we're counting on you to do that. That was your one assignment that we're giving you out in Europe.
So
All right.
today,
Today, what do we got, Lily?
today we're talking about stress. Stress at work, stress after work at home, and how we cope with it while we're on duty and once we get home and try to get our minds off of work. So, Athena, if you want to start just by talking about first off, while you're at work, while you're on your tour, kind of what helps you kind of deal with stress and just tips for that.
All right. Well, okay. First, I like how you say tour. It just makes it sound so fun and interesting, which it is. So it sounds better than a shift for some reason. So my tour of 48 hours, which is same as you, right? So
Yep.
we work the 2 days on, and then we have the 4 days off if we're lucky, because a lot of times we pick up a bunch of overtime shifts and extra work here and there. So during typical 2 day tour, you can encounter all kinds of calls, right? We have medicals, vehicle accidents, fires, brush fires, all that good stuff. And it could be pretty stressful depending on what you get. Like this last shift, I felt like we were constantly going, 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 um, and sometimes you go from one call to the next, then you don't even have time to process the call that you just went on. Um, and so you don't even really have a chance going from one call to the next to kind of go, okay, like what just happened? And you're right back on the rig going to another call. So you can't even, it kind of just goes away. And then now you're focused on the next call and the next patient and what's before you. So at work, I would say when I'm there and it's pretty stressful, just taking that moment, coming back to the station, using the bathroom, right? We try to
Yeah. Use it
get
when
back
you
on,
can.
like, right? In case we're out again, because you never know when you're going to be stuck on a call for hours. So going to the bathroom, that's one thing. I know it sounds silly, but taking a moment in there by yourself in your little toilet cave and breath, reset. And yeah, and sometimes you pull out the phone, you kind of check what messages you're missing, or just kind of try to get your mind off of what you were just on or doing for a moment. um and then coming out, and then man, I'm making it sound like a big field trip to the bathroom. But it's just a few minutes, by yourself is my point. So it could be in your dorm room or wherever your sleeping quarters are, just to reset yourself there, or going outside, getting, some fresh air down in the bay, well, outside the bay, just standing out there getting some fresh air before you have to go hard again on another call. Um, any downtime that we can get, and sometimes it's not a lot, but when we do, it's nice to sit down in a recliner if you're not on probation. So uh, sitting there for a moment, and then just talking about it too. Like if it's a really stressful one, talking about it with your coworkers and seeing like how they felt about it, and just talking about it really helps. Like I'll share an experience I just had. Um, so I was gone for a couple weeks, went on a eighth grade field trip, with my son and his school, and then also had some back-to-back travel in Tacoma. And so anyhow, when I came back, I had missed a few things. And one of the first calls we went on, I'm driving, I'm driver training right now. And we're going to the same old address, right? Same old we'll just say Mrs. Smith. And going there this time to go, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, to go pick up someone, put them in their new hospital bed that they just got. And so we're heading over there, and I'm driving. I'm like, oh, I wonder who it's going to be today, guys. Is it the lady or is it the guy? And they're like in their 90s, and actually they weren't even married. They were together like their whole life. And yeah, and the husband, see, I say husband naturally. The boyfriend, he was so proud of calling his counterpart, his girlfriend. He was like, "This is my girlfriend." Whenever we say wife or whatever, he would correct us, and he'd be like, "No, no, no, that's my girlfriend." So, um, the boyfriend and girlfriend in their 90s, were headed there, driving, and the guys go, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "It's the boyfriend. The girlfriend died," and I'm like, "What?" And I'm like almost there, and I'm like freaking out because I'm like I had tucked her in, Lily. You know, I tucked her in many times, taken her to the bathroom, turned off her night light, all that stuff. Like, and so I like had this relationship with her and him,
Yeah.
mostly her. And so I was like devastated, like, oh my God, you guys, I'm really sad. And they're like, well, joking. If you come to work, you know what's happening. And so we're driving there. We finally get there, and the visiting nurse came out, and she just kind of waves us like a sad wave, and she's like, it's he passed. Like he was waiting to be moved to his hospital bed, and he passed during that time we were on the way there. And so then I was completely like, oh my gosh, like that hit me, and I was like, dang, I didn't think I'd be so sad. But I mean, here's this couple that spent their whole lives together, and a week apart, like they die within a week. That's like literally a broken heart, right? Wouldn't you say?
Right there. Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time. So, anyways, I was just really, and as we're, packing up and ready to leave the scene, I was like, guys, I'm actually kind of really sad about this. I don't know why it's bothering me so much. I guess I missed when she passed away, and then I show up and I'm on the way to the house, and then he's gone, and I just didn't really think it would bother me as much as it did. So probably for the whole day, I was kind of off and on thinking about them, and
You
so
were in a funk.
yeah, I was in a funk, and I was like, the most unexpected calls can, like, that you don't think you would have problem with, like, tend to sometimes like really work on you and stress you out without even realizing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
because you get into like this flow of like, maybe once a tour you see them, you help them out, and then all of a sudden it's stopped
yeah,
and you're no longer going to be visiting them, unfortunately. And that can definitely put like a trigger on someone. And I hope that, the guys understood, because it's easy for people to be like, oh, it's, we don't ever have to deal with them again. But like you said, it hit you
yeah,
hard, it hit you differently. And
Yeah. Yeah, this one was different. Like I've had other couples that had, gone and passed, and I've had different old folks little lift assists that we normally go to, and
yeah.
man, it never really bothered me, but this one got to me. So um, anyhow, yeah, I'm just thinking about it right
So
now.
do you feel like you deal with that better alone or with help, like either from your coworkers or friends, like outside of work?
So what I feel like helped me is by sharing this, like I'm sharing it with you.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I just share it. And I'm like, even if I'm just talking about it, I feel like it helps. And but it also reminds us, like, hey, we're human, right? And even though we go through all these calls and everything and we see it all the time, I think sometimes we tend to, like, we're just in the motion of things. All right, pick up, put back. Oh, okay, this person's sick. Okay, got them on the ambulance. Okay, they're gone. It's kind of like, all right, next, next, next. Almost becomes like a factory lineup, right? You know,
Right.
um, and so I think sometimes, yeah, we just happen to connect with certain people differently, and so I guess that one got me, and sharing it, just sharing that story, really does help. So that was one that happened recently, but that's pretty much how it is. I can't really think of anything else other than like probably trying to get a little bit of a sweat workout in, on tour, doing
Mhm.
something.
Yeah. And do you try to do something like obviously like every day we're active and doing something, but like you giving yourself like an hour while on your shift to be able to just like be in your own head by yourself working out. Do you do something like that?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much something like that, whether it's like yoga, just stretching.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'll watch a YouTube video or something. Yoga with Adrienne, she's great. You guys should check her out. But little plug. She's helped me a lot. And so we'll do something like that, or even if it's just later on in the day with the guys, putting on some sort of comedy, comic relief to kind of get your mind off things. But
Mhm.
but you're always on, when you're on, you're always,
Right.
on, it's on. So it's not like you can completely decompress. So what about you, Lily? What you got? I know Lily's on probation, right?
I am on probation. So it's a little bit added stress.
Yes. Yes.
But so for me, I'm definitely like a planner type. So I try and like have some kind of plan before I go on tour. That way it kind of keeps me in line, I guess, and like having my goals each tour.
Mhm.
But there is that, unexpected stress, whether it's an unexpected call or just lack of sleep, lack of whatever hydration, food, because that's also a big thing that adds to the stress. So I try and focus on little things that I can control, which is, drinking water throughout the day. Like people, I don't think realize how important that
Mhm.
is. And like for me, it like affects me pretty bad if I'm not drinking throughout the day. Um, Eating while I can. I think I got that from like Cal Fire because we never knew when we were going to be gone for like hours in the wilderness. So I'm like
Oh yeah.
definitely trained my mind to like use a bathroom when I can, eat,
Yep.
drink water when I can, and that I think has really set me up pretty well for
Mhm.
dealing with stress at work. Um, if there is like a big, it doesn't even have to be a big call. Like it's just like a call that just bugs you. Um, I feel like I have a pretty good support system at work. Everywhere that I've worked in my fire service has been really supportive. If we do have like a really tough call, like we've all gotten together. And sometimes it even comes about like later because I've noticed like for me, like when something happens, like a
Mhm.
stressful call, like I kind of like to take time for myself and think about things. And then later I'll be open to talk about it. That's just
Mhm.
me personally.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I found that like even like weeks later, all of a sudden, like I'm like, okay, like I need to talk about this. And like you said,
Yeah.
like it's important to talk. um I think we're getting better in the fire
Mhm.
service of being more open and like recognizing that it's important to talk and like showing others that it's okay to talk and it's not
Yeah.
weak.
Right.
um it took me like probably into my second or third year to realize that. And now I'm like totally an advocate and telling people like, hey, if you need to talk, I'm
Yeah.
here. I don't even we don't even have to like, talk about the call.
Right. Right.
We can talk about whatever else you want. And I
Right.
found that to be helpful. So that's
It's
for
definitely,
me.
yeah. It's definitely
Yeah.
changing. I'm going to agree with you on that. Like, it's definitely like, it's becoming like normal, like normalized, like it's okay. It's acceptable. It's great. It's even, we really should be doing this. And I think it's just the whole macho mentality of before, like, no, 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 you just got to bury that stuff down. But we are learning that that's not like with anything in life. You don't want to do that because then you're just like probably a ticking time bomb walking
Yeah,
around,
and that's totally true. Like you can see the people who have been there, a lot longer and haven't had that kind of I guess open space to feel comfortable and how they deal with stress versus I would say people who are not as experienced but are able to have that open space and kind
Mhm.
of you see them, I feel like just deal with it better. Not to say that the others can't learn how to, but I think it
Right.
just takes time. So for me, that's how, I deal with it at work. Definitely working out. I
Yes.
try at least an hour every day at work. And it's nothing like it has to be like crazy workout,
Mhm.
lifting huge amount of weight. Sometimes it is just stretching or
Yeah.
riding on the bike. We try to at work play together. Like we play this one game. It's like a soccer volleyball type of game that we
Oh,
built
how
this like little court and
no
stuff where we'll
way.
play like kind of like knockout basketball, things
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
And I
That's
think that's
awesome.
helpful too, like especially after like a tough day. We all get together and we're all still competitive.
I
And
love it.
so it's fun and it builds, that group cohesion.
Yes.
So I really like that. But I definitely understand too what you said about like after calls, going to the bathroom and like peeing by yourself.
Yeah.
Like I do that too sometimes just to like kind of be, I think separation is also good
Yeah.
at work, just having your own time, your own alone time. Um, but yeah, that's how for me, at
Yeah.
least I deal with at work.
At
Um,
work, right.
at work. Now after work
Yeah, a
is
whole
a
nother ball game.
whole nother ball game. So you have uh so we're both on the same schedule. We have two on, 2 days on, 4 days off. So what does your day one of your 4 day look like?
Oh, God. All right. So if it could go either way, right? Because like if you have a crazy tour, oh, I'm liking that the more I say it, it sounds so fancy. Um, then you know that can totally change the first day after you get off your shift. So I would say like on a typical first day off, that morning you're getting off work. My goal is to get to the gym and work out at 9 a.m. I take the 9 a.m. class with the other folks there. And then based on how the last 2 days went, I'll decide if I feel good enough to push myself, and go RX in the CrossFit world. Um, or if I need to scale back and I just want to move, just get some blood flow and call it good there, then I'll do that. So the goal is 9 a.m. I'm at the gym. I'm doing something. I'm interacting with people more or less. Again, depending on how the calls went the night before or the whole tour. Um, get that done. It usually takes a good amount of caffeine to get that to happen. I mean, as much as I would like to be like, oh yeah, well, no, I will probably drink half a bang or a
Do you
cup of
still
coffee.
go if you've been up all night, like that morning that you're getting off?
I would say majority of the time, yes, I'll still go, even if I'm just like, toning it down a bunch. Like say we just the other night, we had like 4 or 5 calls and I was so tired, but I still went because it's also helping me keep um, uh, like a pattern, a rhythm, a schedule, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll just go, I'll figure out what I'm going to do. When I get there, I'll do something. And then I know I could start the day. And then I try to, pack in as much stuff I could do, front load, get all these tasks done so that I can rest more on the other days.
Okay.
But as far as dealing with stress, yes, it's the exercise right after. And then um, and then, hydrating, all that good stuff, eating well, like you said, um, pretty much. Oh, I'll make a appointment at the chiropractor. Like we met. That was,
We saw each other yesterday there.
yeah, it was a delightful surprise. And that was my first day off. So I was like, I try to schedule the chiro work, to get readjusted because every time that happens, I just feel like a brand new person. So it
Yeah,
feels
for sure.
really, really, yeah, really, really good. Um, and then if I'm lucky, I may or get a massage. It's been a while. I'm kind of overdue actually for that. If you're young and listening to this, massages aren't weird. Just do it. I wish I'd started them sooner in my life.
Oh
They're like,
yeah.
once you find that one person, um, man, it's just like you
Life
just wish,
changer.
yeah, you wish you found them sooner. I'm like, yeah. So, anyways, I got a punch card. Um, and that's pretty much how that first day goes. And then I try to get to bed earlier, so I can kind of catch up on some of my Z's. And then yeah, that's it for that first day. What about what about you, my friend?
I feel like I'm totally opposite. I'm like, first day, I want to go home, sleep. Like, as much as I really want to go to the gym, I've realized that like I need to just go home and like rest a bit. And then if I decide, okay, I'm gonna like move and go to the gym, I'll go. But like it'll be like a slow, like bike a little bit, do some stretching, hit the
Yeah.
sauna, and like nothing crazy because I just can't. I don't know why my first day I'm like couch potato and I've come to terms with it because first I was like my cat
Hi, Kat.
first yeah like my first like
Faster this way.
few years yeah like I was like okay like my days off like I gotta make the most of it and
Mhm,
then I've just found that I feel like I've added more stress that way because I feel like
mhm.
the rest of my days I'm now like having this anxiety of getting everything else done versus just like letting my mind rest and kind of taking that
Yeah.
time to disconnect
Mm,
because for me I need that to be able to disconnect from work and then the
yeah.
rest of my days be able to enjoy them
Yeah, for sure.
um so that's me. My first day is just resting, recovery, like you said, eating well and getting to bed early.
Yeah,
um
I try.
and try
Yeah,
yeah
I try to get better. That's the goal. Um, I will say back to what you said. It just depends on how, I'm feeling right when I get off. Like
yeah
it's good, and I come to terms with it. Like, okay, I'm not going hard on this workout. I'm just gonna move my body just to move and get blood flowing, and that's pretty much it. Um, but I will say during my probation, I was not, most of it was come home. I was just dead because I wasn't used to that kind of schedule. And I remember one of the first times coming home for my first 48-hour shift on probation. I came home, sat down on the couch, freaking fell out asleep, probably with my mouth open, and catching flies. And I forgot to turn my pager off. So that sucker went off and I
you're
jumped
like
up and I was like, I swear I almost had like a mini heart attack. And I was like, oh, and I freaked out. And my husband was like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. And I'm searching through my bag of clothes with my uniform and everything. I'm like, where's that damn thing? I turn it off. Oh my God. And I think I took a selfie that day because I wanted to see like what I look like,
yeah
after my first,
remember that moment
remember that moment. And I'm telling you, I never jumped so doggone high. And I hated that pager at the moment and could have threw it across the room because I was just, oh, oh man, I was in a deep, deep sleep too. But yeah. And then eventually, you kind of you figure it out. But probation's a whole nother story. So I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
I'm not proud of you for knowing to rest and not being all cray
Yeah,
cray.
I think it takes some learning. Like I said, it's just listening to yourself and like kind of forcing yourself to take that rest.
Yeah.
Because there are times where it's like, oh, I can totally go to the gym right now, but I'm like, it'll benefit me more to
Right.
rest right now, do, like slow recovery, and then like my next days be able to go, all out
Right.
and
Right.
enjoy those days more. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You see
Your
the
cat.
cat? He's like,
Yeah, the cat placement is killing me. What's the cat checking out? It's
I
like
don't
looking at
know,
the
probably a
ceiling.
ghost.
Oh, it knows we're talking about it. All right. That's funny.
Yeah.
Um,
So your day one, we talked about your day one. What about like the rest of your days? Are you like go, 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 try to get everything done, like your day two, three, or do you wait till the last day to do everything?
no, so I try to get like my laundry done right away, except for this shift. It's still sitting in the laundry room. I'll do that today. I uh coach at the gym. So I'll go coach usually like 5:30 a.m. or 7 or 9 a.m. Gets me out of the house, gets me going, gives me a schedule because I feel like I need that because
Yeah.
we're off so many days in between. Like I need something to like, okay. And I enjoy it too. Um, so I'll go in, coach and then get my workout in. And then sometimes I spend too much time there. I know, working on that time management still. But and then I also still work at the socks box shop and I'll have projects here and there. Like once a week or so I'll go in there and hello.
He's so
Someone really wants
annoying.
attention. Hi, what's your cat
George.
name?
George.
George. George turned off your
Georgie.
camera. Oh, there you go. Georgie.
There you
Um, so anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I actually ordered a food service to help me prep foods for work. So
go. Oh, cool.
that totally is worth it. Every freaking penny. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
friend. Yeah, it's one
Maybe
of
I
my
should do that.
yeah, it's one of my
Because
coworkers.
food shopping is like my least favorite thing.
Dude, leave your whole day before is so much more relaxed. Plus, you've already got like homework and stuff that you've got to do for probation and things,
Yeah.
and stuff like that that you've got to prep for and you're studying and everything. So it gives you one whole day back just to have someone, especially now when you're on probation, that I would highly recommend. In fact, I'll give you her number when we're done with this.
Perfect.
So it is the best purchase one of the best purchases I've ever made decisions. So I hope she never quits. But anyways, so Lily, what do you do the rest of the days? So your second, third, fourth day before going back to work.
So my second and third day are kind of like my jam-packed days. I try to put like appointments, get errands done, do like most of my cleaning those days. Just because I feel like I have the most energy then. And then I'll go to like the gym, try to get like a bike ride in or do something outside too,
Yes.
because that helps me a lot deal with stress just being outside. And then just cleaning, whether it's, at home, whatever it is, doing laundry. And then I try to schedule my appointments during those times because I know if I do it my first day, I'm gonna hate myself. If I do it my last day, I'm gonna hate myself. So
Right.
it's like I try and do the 2 and 3, which it seems to work for me pretty well. Um, but yeah, that's mainly my middle days, and my last day is like just getting my bag ready, going food
Right.
shopping, little things like that. That way I'm all set for work, making sure, yeah, just everything's done. And that for me, having a plan, because I'm definitely like a big planner and I love lists. Like I have my like list right here for
Oh, good
today.
old paper and pen.
Sometimes it's on my phone, but I don't know why. I like
Writing it
crossing
out.
things out.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, having that outline for me helps. Just because I love, planning things out and helps me just stay on track and not feel like I'm missing something on my 4 day, or like somehow, like, I don't know, it just helps with my anxiety, I guess. So that's how I deal with stress. But the big thing is definitely being active, being outside.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes, for
and
sure.
then just taking time too, and knowing that like I need time for not fire related things. Like I
Yeah.
think it's, especially on probation, it's hard for me to do. Like I'm always like, oh, I should be studying this, I should be doing my
Yes.
maps, I should be, you know. But it's also important that like we do have our other half of our lives,
Yeah. Yeah.
social lives, you know, personal lives
Right.
that need to be taken care of. And so I'm still learning, still trying to figure that out. But I feel like I do a pretty good job of it.
Good. Good. Well,
Um,
so
yeah,
how far are you now into your probation?
I'm in month 5,
Out of how many?
12,
Out of
12
12.
months.
Okay. Almost the halfway
Yeah,
point.
almost a halfway.
Almost the halfway point. When you said lists and scheduling, and it reminded me of when I had during my probation, what I had was I would write it out, good old, paper and pencil, and I would try to literally break down. It was probably overkill, but it helped me to break down the whole day. And I'd be like, okay,
Yeah,
this is what I'm doing, like schedule it, right? Like a here's working out. Okay. And then I'm going to do some laundry here. And then from this time to this time, I'm going to be studying maps. And then I'm going to eat lunch. And then from this time to this time, I'm going to, go over engine inventory stuff. And then take a 10-minute break. All right, what am I going to do now? And then I literally had the whole day just in chunks. And then I can mark them off, if I did them. And if I didn't get to it for whatever reason, something happened, like I gotta go get the kids from school or something, then I have to, then I'd carry it on to one of the other days and schedule it in that way. But yeah, it was pretty like precise.
yeah,
So, I mean, but there's so many things to know with our job, right? There's so many things from maps to, inventory tools, the task, all the different types of skills we have to have. I mean, there's always something that we could be studying and refreshing on.
yeah. I think knowing too, like being able, just like our job, being able to adapt. So like if on your 4 days something doesn't work out, then you just got to keep moving along and
Yeah.
figure it out. Don't
Right.
be
You can't
so hard on
beat yourself
yourself.
up. Right. Yeah.
I know we're like our own biggest critic, at least for me personally. Like I'm the hardest on myself, but you also have to remember to be kind to yourself,
Yeah.
and
No kidding.
you're doing the best you can.
Right.
So I
Right.
remind myself.
Yes, you are, Lily, you're doing the best you can.
You
You're
are
doing
too, Athena.
you're doing great. And
You are
it
too, Meg. Living your
yeah,
best
Meglan.
life.
Yeah,
See,
she's doing
she takes it to a whole new level, and goes on vacation and stuff.
it makes me want to do more. I'm like, I'm not doing enough. I need to live
Self-care,
my
self-love.
best. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And hey, I'll tell you guys both, like do travel the world and do all those things before you have all these kids. Okay. I'm assuming you're gonna have kids. Because it gets harder to do things when you have them, and
Oh, I'm
but then
sure.
yeah, so
Animals, having animals is hard. Like, who are you
right.
gonna have
Those are kids
sit
too.
and
Because then you
yeah.
got to put them in a kettle or find a baby dog sitter or whatever. And yeah, so I definitely need to. Thanks, Meglin. We've got to live our lives a little more. So, but that will give us longevity with our careers and our
Hmm.
job, right? It's that
For
whole
sure.
work-life balance thing. All right, so I guess what we've learned from this is it's important to take our rest days physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all those things. We need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves first and foremost, right? Before we can extend that and take care of anyone else, especially on our tours, right?
For sure.
So, well, thanks, Lily. This has been great, and hopefully, we'll get Meglin back on the next one once she's done traveling the seven seas and living her best life.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun.
if anyone has any questions for us, hit us up. We're on
Yeah, hit us up for ideas for our next episode. And if you have any questions, whatever it is, fire related or not.
Yeah, could be anything. Could be anything. But we're your California fire women here, and whoop whoop. We're growing, and hopefully we're, changing and carving that pathway for more future firefighters. So one more thing before we let you go, don't forget to follow us on all the social medias. We've got YouTube, we've got Instagram, we've got Twitter, we've got Facebook, Spotify. Make sure you smash that like button, share us with a friend. And don't forget, we've got a Patreon account now. So if you want, consider supporting us on Patreon. And you'll get one of the first stickers of our new logo once it's released. Sound good? I'm excited about that one. That one's going to be so cool. You're going to want to watch everything on laptops and water bottles, your friends. So be sure to support us, guys. And take care, be safe, and have fun. Bye.
Bye.